This is a complete full guide masterclass on how to live below your means and invest more into assets. The purpose of this video is to teach you guys step by step on how you could get closer to financial freedom by setting that foundation of budgeting. All right, let's hop on the computer and let's get started. All right, pussies. So we're on the drawing board now. So first we have to find out how much are we spending in terms of expenses, how much income are we making, and what are we investing after that. So let's start first off with how much we're making. So in this scenario, let's say, the average American makes what, $60,000 a year. So let's divide that up. Okay, I have my calculator on the other tab here, but let's say we're making $60,000 a year gross. So we have draw it out or type it out. $60,000 per year. $60,000 per year. Okay. Now we have to actually multiply that by 3.5 just to be generous because of taxes. So the average American makes $60,000 per year and you're left with, so you're netting $40,000 per year after taxes. So this is what you're getting take home. Okay. So let's divide that by 12 months. So 40,000 divided by 12 would be $3,300.33 per month. So that's what you're taking home per month after taxes. And that's not even including your rent, anything like that. That's just purely income. So the average American is taking home full-time $3,333.33 per month. Now let's take a look at your expenses. So for expenses, you have your needs. So the needs are basically what you need to live: housing, food, transportation to get to work. Those are the three things. And let's just say healthcare too. I'm under my mother's healthcare since I'm under 24, or 25, whatever the average person has healthcare. So let's break this down, right? I live in Dallas, which is like one of the most expensive cities in the area. So let's just take a look at average rent in Dallas. 2025. Okay. Average rent price is $1,500. Okay, let's just say $1,600. So you're paying $1,600 for rent. And let's add another one for utilities as well. So in terms of housing, $1,800. Housing equals the rent plus utilities. Equals $1,800. So we got that down. Let's erase this. How do we do that? Average food price is average grocery costs. $450. That's the average transportation costs. So let's just say, commuting from work, back to work, gas, car payments, that's going to be like $550, dude. Because the average car payment is, because I would say most people in America have car payments. They don't pay their car full. $749 monthly. So wow, transportation is $1,000, bro. What the fuck? Including like gas and shit. And then healthcare. What's the average price for healthcare? Monthly. I want to be monthly. 514. Damn, $500 per month. Okay, let's just say $500 per month. Healthcare, $500 per month. Wow, that is pretty insane. So the average American making $60,000 a year. Let's just add that up. So 1,800 plus 450 plus 1,000 plus 500. Okay, your needs are really fucking high. Your needs are about $3,750 per month. That is insane, guys. So the average American that has a rent of $1,800 per month grocery bill of $450 per month, transportation of $1,000 per month, and healthcare all adds up to 33. And if you subtract that, so you're left with basically not just zero, but negative. So, wow. You're negative on your money, which is not where you want to be. That equals debt, credit cards, overdraft fees, and that will not get you anywhere in life. So how do we reduce this? How do we make it so that our needs are way below and we still could invest? First thing to do is transportation. What can we do with that? Well, I would recommend selling off the car. So let's pick the lower hanging fruit here, which is transportation. How can we reduce this cost so that we could live below our means? Okay, transportation here. Let's just say we don't have a car payment. We sell our car, we work remote, we get a better job. Let's just do this, right? Okay, $1,000. So we got needs after Simon's review and household. So we got our needs after. So how can we deal with transportation first? So with transportation, sell your car and trade it in for a new, or not new, but like a used model, okay? That's going to heavily reduce your monthly cost and most likely bring that down to half. So let's say 1,000 minus, if we sell our car, okay, we're going to get negative equity, but still we could reduce that to half basically. Your transportation is now $500 per month. Okay, cool. We just reduced our transportation costs in half just by selling the car, trading it in for probably more shittier car, but we'll get the job done in making you go to work. That's our needs. So that's transportation down. Let's talk about rent now. What we could do as a solution to reduce rent, actually live with roommates, right? You could invest in a 2-bedroom household. So let's just say average or a 2-bedroom apartment. So instead of buying a 1-bedroom, you could buy a 2-bedroom. Get roommates. So, okay, $1,800 per month. If you have a roommate, you could essentially split that. Let's say $1,900. Okay, plus $200 for utilities, but that would be like $2,100 per month. But you could divide that by 2 roommates, and you could do this by websites like roommates.com, or just find a friend that will help you out. And you're left with, you're paying $150, including utilities, dollars per month. With rent, you're paying $200. So let's just highlight these. $1,050 per month, $500 per month. You're cutting your costs in half, but just by adjusting those. Food is just gonna be the same, which is $450. You don't have to sacrifice your food. You still have the foods that you want. So healthcare, $500 per month. Cool. So we got that. So by fixing those 2 things, transportation and rent, by getting roommates, by transportation, by selling your car, trading it in for an older model so that your car payments are much cheaper and your gas is much cheaper, as well as your rent, you just leave the other one, get a 2-bedroom apartment. It could even be in the same complex and have a roommate. That will essentially cut your transportation rent in half while keeping your food and healthcare, the things that you actually need, there. So let's calculate this in total, right? If I were in that case, I would do that, and that would be $1,050 plus what? 500 plus 450 plus 500, $2,500. That is pretty nice here. And now your income minus needs or expenses, $33 per month, minus our needs, which is $2,500 per month. What are we left with? So we're not left with negative. That's pretty fucking obvious. Dude, you're left with $833 in which you could invest in. With this type of income, It's definitely hard to apply the 70-30 rule for sure, since you're living in, Dallas, and it's pretty expensive there. But I'm just giving you a rough estimate on how you could budget your money and cut costs so that you could invest more into courses, certifications, investments. I'm gonna show you guys what you could do now to with that $833 left over for investments. An investment should be savings, obviously. So we want to do that. Doc, Roth IRA, courses, $33. So I would say for savings per month, $300. It's better than nothing. And put that in a high yield savings account. I'll put the link in description for you guys. But yeah, put in the high yield savings account, 4 to 5%. 3.5 to 4% is pretty good for a savings account. If you have a savings account in Chase, I know they give like 0.01%. That is now no bueno. You have to be getting at least 3.5 to 5% of your money back or reinvested into the savings account. So 300, that's gone. So we're left with 533.33. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to put your Roth IRA. Also, I'm not including shopping. You should not shop with this type of expense and this type of income. You should only be investing into yourself. So, Roth IRA, you should do $200 per month. Stocks, let's just put it at $100 per month. So, and put it into VOO, VTI. Same thing with the stock brokerage as well. Robinhood brokerage. Or actually, you know what? To VOO or VTI, I would say put $300 in that. Actually, $300 per month in VOO, VTI. And then I want you to take the rest of your money and put it towards yourself. So what does that look like? So again, courses, certifications, things that will make you more money, get you promotion, get you a new job opportunity, or even just start your own side hustle. Those things will increase your income. Mentorship. So that will be the remaining $433 per month. With the needs, $2,500 per month, and that with a $60,000 salary. So with an average income, this is how you should budget. And this is how you fix the costs so that you're not negative all the time. And I want you guys to start tracking your expenses like this. And additionally too, with that $60,000, you could also, work Uber, right? Uber will probably make you an additional $1,000 a month if you're doing it part-time. So that will increase your expenses. Let's say you do Uber. So that will increase your investments and I want you guys to take that remaining money from like a side hustle or a second job to reinvest into your investments, your savings, Roth IRA, courses, certifications, travel, mentorship. You shouldn't worry about the travel right now. So scratch that part. Plus $1,000, you could put it back into 4 of these or 3 of these, right? And then with the certifications and classes, you'll learn more skills on a more consistent basis. And with those skills, you could present that to the job market in which you could get a promotion at work that will raise you from, let's say, $60,000 to $80,000. Wow, that's a lot. So you could easily make an additional $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 by just investing in yourself, getting a second job, so that you could put more into your investments and keep the needs where they're at so that you could have more percentage of your money into investments, less of the percentage into needs. This is how I would do it with a salary of $60,000 gross living in Dallas, Texas. Now, I'm not actually making that right now. I'm making way more than that. With the needs that I have right now, I'm actually spending around this. I have more money to invest. So that's how I usually do this when it comes to budgeting. And this is a full guide on how you should budget your money as well. You need to take how much your expenses are, your needs, and get a baseline of what you're spending. And you also need to get a baseline of what you're making on a consistent basis. That way you could see, oh, fuck, I'm going negative. I'm going in debt, actually. Or, okay, I'm doing well, but I could do better. I could get a second job. I could acquire more skills to get a raise at work or get a promotion at work. And I'm telling you, with these investments, putting it into savings, your Roth IRA, your other brokerages, that will compound over time, making you more money so that you can reinvest and get that compound effect. That's what we want. And eventually, once you invest more into yourself and more into your Roth IRA and stock investments, your income will look like this. So let's say this chart, let's say X is time and Y is the money. You're starting here. Eventually, it'll just fucking exponentially grow like this. Boom. This is how financial freedom looks like with the effects of compound interest. Look, budgeting, you don't have to restrict yourself, right? But there are sacrifices that need to be made initially when you start looking at your expenses and your income. And then once you track that, you'll save much more and invest much more and live stress-free. You don't want to be in your 30s and 40s stressing about money. You want to take that time, relax, raise your kids, and spend time on the things that matter most to you. So if you want to control your freedom, you have to control your money first. I'm sorry. I'm just a player of the game. I didn't create this. Subscribe if you want more financial hacks like this. If you want to check out what the 70-30 rule is in application, I have a video that will pop up above. And then if you want more of this content, I have more videos and a playlist for you here too.